Hello, everybody. Professor Fensky here again for week three's lesson on Golden Nugget Review, which is going to cover chapters 3 and 4 of our book, Getting from College to Career. I trust you guys have that, are reading that, and are enjoying it. I think it's a great read. It's simple. I only wish there's a few more pictures in there to help us get through the book. But with that, I hope you're doing well. I pray that you're healthy and strong and your families are doing good as we adjust to this new normal. Social distancing and all the stuff that's going along with this pandemic. So, for me personally, I've just developed a pattern in my day. I'm working home remotely, like many Northwestern employees are. So I trust that you've kind of developed your routine and your rhythm and how you're doing things that will help to include some devotions, spending time with the Lord, some physical fitness activities, and eating healthy and getting outside when you can. So things that have helped me get through the days, but I hope that you're doing well. So for this Gold Nugget Review, I'm actually going to be providing two different lessons here, covering the material, lots to cover here. Really, this is kind of a big chunk of the book and a big chunk of what we teach here in preparation for your interviews. This first portion is going to be covering topics on chapter 3. We're really going to be doing some brainstorming here, some research, some soul searching as you kind of think about your passion. So if you would, grab something to write with and a notepad, because I'm going to have you write down some stuff as we brainstorm together. And let's kick off chapter 3. First thing I want to do is grab that piece of paper, and what we're going to do is make a really big list. Jess, I may cover this in different lessons. I think it's something that you can do and that you can come back to and visit in the future. And so in context, where do you see yourself in, say, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years as you're pursuing a career? And so let me just ask you some questions, and I want you to write the answers down for these. What companies would you like to work for? Maybe in the Twin Cities, maybe you're out of state here. Maybe you want to work for 3M, Medtronics, Boston Scientific, something like that. Just list whatever companies you want to work for. Then next question, what companies do you not want to work for? Just write out, just whatever comes to mind. Then companies you like, companies you don't like. Big companies, are you going to pursue big companies, or would you rather pursue small companies? Maybe mom and pop shops, you want to work for them. Even within the business world, there's opportunities there. Where do you want to work? You want to work in a big city, in the metro area? Do you want to work smaller, rural areas? Do you want to work for profit, nonprofit, church, education field? What are areas out there that you'd like to work that you can apply marketing, business, accounting, data analytics, those things that we're pursuing our education in? Do you want to work for the public sector? Do you want to work for the private sector? What about the government, local, state, maybe even federal government jobs that are out there? Other things to consider. How far do you want to commute? 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour? Do you want to travel on a regular basis, maybe once a week, a couple times a month? That's going to matter in terms of the jobs that we pursue. What about a job that may require you to work in the evenings or the weekends? So as we kind of explore and brainstorm together, some other things I want you to think about is, and we're going to do a little exercise here a little bit later on in this presentation or in this video, but what are you really passionate about? What do you love to do? If you say, I love talking to people, or don't love talking to people, does that get you excited? Conversely, what are the things that you just do not like? Write those things down. Maybe you despise numbers. Maybe sales, something where you've got to pick up the phone and talk to somebody and try to sell a product. Maybe you love doing that. Maybe you love interacting with people. Write these things that you like or don't like that'll help shape us. Maybe you like to work with groups, or you don't like to work with groups. Maybe you like to work alone. You're good working kind of in a cubby hole, in a workplace, kind of behind the scenes. Again, write these answers down. This is just a brainstorming exercise. Now I'm going to throw you a curveball. Some of you may already be married. That's going to change and shape your what you do in the future for sure. In a few years down the road, you may get married or you may have kids. that's going to change the answers to some of these questions. Okay, you can come back and visit that, or that's in the book. I think it's section number 17. As you continue to explore and you pursue what you want to do and what you're passionate about, I think that's going to help. Just going to highlight a few more things out of chapter 3 that Pollock discusses. Section 20, I really like this quote. This is talking about exploring our passion. There's a quote that says, "It's impossible to be truly successful without passion. So loving what you do is the key to happiness." So I find that kind of interesting. And I think as we explore job choices and careers, we can look at taking a safe career choice, or we can pursue that lifelong passion. And maybe pursuing that passion or your dreams may mean that you're going to work for less, right? You're going to take a job that you really love, but it's not going to pay as much as something else in corporate America might do. So something to consider. How do you define your passion? That's a good question. Like, what gets you excited? What motivates you? What drives you? So continue to explore that. I think money is important. We need to put money into perspective. It's a factor, but it's not the factor. It's not the most important thing out there. We're going to talk about this throughout our lessons. There's other things that you can value that are important as well, such as your benefits. I think in a Christian environment education, I don't think we make a lot of money. And so I think one of the things that drew me to this job is not only working with students and supporting you guys as you pursue your education, but one of the benefits working as an employee is the employee tuition grant that we get. Our kids can come to school here for a significant discount. That's a huge factor. That's a plus and a benefit. So as you look at jobs and you look at benefits, that's something to consider. What else do jobs and opportunities have to offer you? Again, so the first job that you choose is certainly not going to be your last job. So keep that in perspective, that money is not everything. Pollock spends some time developing, considering a coach and developing mentors, engaging with people that can advise you one-on-one. I know our career development office, you can do one-on-one coaching, you can do exercises and things that you can explore to help develop what your passions are, and they can advise you and set you up for that. Seeking out a mentor. There's a lot of definition of what people consider a mentor. For me, I think it's, someone that you have a connection with, a natural affinity. Maybe there's something that they do that you're interested in, or pursuits that you just enjoy talking together about, something that you have in common. Generally a mentor has some years and some experience on them that they can advise you and give you some tips and tricks on how to navigate that. And then, it's somebody that you stay in contact with on a regular basis. Maybe it's once a month, you grab coffee with them, you just touch base, you have accountability, and they can just share their life with you and future successes that you have. All right, grab that piece of paper again. And what I want to do is transition to a section in the book on page 57. Normally, if we're in class, I'd actually provide you a handout, and we fill this out together. I still have my handout from previous quad that we teach, so I'm just going to reference that here. So I want you to number your paper 1 to 3 and list the top 3 things that you're good at. And then the next section, 1 through 3, are what are areas that you need to work on. So maybe for what you're good at, some examples might be, I can communicate well, I can write well. Something you need to work on is I really don't like interacting with people. We're going to talk about networking in the next video, but that's something that I need to practice. Just engaging with people one-on-one or in a group, or maybe public speaking just scares me. I just get nervous. So something to think about when you're doing that. Next question for you is on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being best, is how would you rate yourself in being prepared for a real world job? Some of you may have already had an internship. Some of you are pursuing an internship this summer. How prepared do you think you are? Give yourself a rating, 1 to 10. Next question is, what am I going to do this week? Okay, this week to improve myself. So, you look at those things above in your paper and say, what do I need to work on? What are these things? Maybe it's you need to establish a LinkedIn account or profile. Maybe you need to update that thing. You haven't updated it for a year and a half. Maybe you need to touch base with career development office, set up that handshake account. Maybe you need to reach out and talk to a mentor, talk to a professor, your advisor, just get some counseling and touching base with them on some different options that you might be able to pursue that are going to help you improve yourself. Again, what is one thing that I'm going to do to improve myself this week? Now, so that was kind of a prelude to what I want to talk about as far as in this section from Paul Luck, no hitchhiking. Basically, you want to look at, it's actually found on page 57, is the 4 different areas. Again, we're brainstorming, we're trying to write down some ideas here, and I think Paul kind of captures this nicely in these 4 areas. You can reference your book. What is your style? Meaning how do you do what you do? Like kind of who are you? Are you introverted? Are you extroverted? You can engage with people. What's your style? What's your motivation? Why do you do what you do? All right, what makes you tick? Next one, number 3 is my skills. What are you good at? What you use to do what you do in terms of the skills and attributes that you have. And then the last thing is your internal barriers. The way I look at that is kind of what blocks you or what holds you back or what limits you. I'll just share personally some things with you as far as when I did this assessment myself. For my style, I would say I'm intentional, I'm intense, but I'm kind of laid back and patient. So it's kind of an interesting mix there. My motivation, honestly, is I'm a believer to glorify God, to support my family, to do everything with excellence, integrity, and to improve others. My skills, I work hard. All right, I'm analytical. I like to take a team approach to things, just doing things right the first time. Kind of a rule follower, especially when it makes sense and to apply common sense. Some internal barriers that I have, I'd say that I'm not really creative. I'm a little bit introverted, maybe a little bit risk adverse in things. So anyway, just kind of sharing some things with you for that. So the last thing I'm going to share with you is if we were in class, I'd show you a video. But in lieu of a video, I'm just going to share some thoughts from you. My family and I attend Eagle Brook Church. Pastor Bob Merritt's been the pastor there for 20 plus years. And he just recently retired, and he gave a sermon in early February, and it was about what matters most. So what Pastor Bob does is he kind of summarizes some things. And I think this is just really important. So as you guys are kind of wrapping up your education, or maybe you're just kind of getting, you're partway through your education, you're looking at career choices and things like that, this perspective that Pastor Bob shares is really good on what matters most and what he has used to guide his life. And so I'm just going to summarize a few things that he made in his message to the church. He says, keep doing the right thing, whether it's your marriage, your personal life, your career, your family, do the right thing. That was kind of his opening comments. For sake of time, I won't read these verses, but Deuteronomy 5:33 and Ephesians 2:10 were some guiding verses for him. He gave 5 points. I'm going to read the 5, and then I'm coming back and give you examples of a little bit. First one is establish and determine your goals and your values. Number 2 is finding your calling and purpose. Number 3, decide what you will never, ever do. Number 4, be boringly consistent. And number 5, deal with dysfunction. So number 1, establish and determine your values. Is focusing goals. We're having a solid faith, great marriage, great career, to be physically fit, to be financially sound. Those values drive our behaviors and the decisions that we make. Number 2, finding your call and purpose. I love these questions. If you get nothing else out of the talk today, zero in on these. What do you love and what are you good at? Then you know what to say no to. Kind of ties in with that passion piece we talked about earlier. Number 3, decide what you will never, ever do. Okay, as believers, we want to follow and pursue the Bible in purity. Maybe some examples include you're not going to gamble. You're not going to get involved with pornography, premarital sex, alcohol. Proverbs 13:11 is a great verse to guide us in that. Another thing financially, to work and save and live below your means. Number 4, be boringly consistent. You're faithful, your routine, a schedule that's predictable. It leads to a great life, Matthew 6:33. And the last one, deal with dysfunction. People that are just not successful if they are angry, if they're toxic, if they're dishonest, if they have addictions. So if there's dysfunction in our lives, Bob's saying, look, we have got to deal with that. Otherwise, that's going to eventually eat away and erode at our life. So anyway, I just thought that was a really good wrap up, kind of a foundation for as you pursue your passions, as you brainstorm and think about, hey, what do I want to do with my life? What job, what career do I want to pursue? I think that framework and perspective is really good. So with that, I'm going to wrap up. That wraps up this lesson, first portion of it. I'm going to come back here and kick off the second portion of the Golden Nugget Review for chapter 3 and 4. Thanks.